Let's welcome in Pennsylvania Congressman Guy Reschenthaler. Congressman Reschenthaler, a member of both the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees, and he is an Iraq War vet. Thanks for your service, Congressman. Good to see you as well on this Thursday. Let's listen to this exchange between Yates and Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham about the error-riddled FISA warrant against former Trump campaign policy advisor Carter Page.
As a matter of fact, you signed that warrant application in October and January. Is that correct?
That's right.
Knowing then what you know now, would you sign that application?
Senator, I would never sign any document.
So I take that to be no, because that document was a fraud. Is that a fair statement? If you knew then what you know now, you wouldn't have signed it?
I wouldn't sign anything that I knew to contain errors or omissions.
All right, so Congressman, beyond the obvious fact that hearings don't quite have the same fireworks over Zoom as we're used to, what was your reaction to that interaction and your takeaway overall from the day?
Well, Dave, a few things. One is that there needs to be indictments that come out of the Durham report. Why? Because Sally Yates right there said it best. Somebody provided information that wasn't accurate to the FISA court. So someone needs to get indicted, and at the very least, they need to lose their law license, their bar license. They shouldn't be able to practice law. They certainly should not be in the FBI anymore. Second is the fact that James Comey completely misled and mishandled this entire debacle. And this has really been a cloud on the nation for 3 or 4 years. It's distracted us from COVID. It's distracted the Trump administration on so many things when we could have been getting things done. And it all comes down to the fact that Jim Comey and what I call his merry band of never-Trumpers at the FBI were trying to obstruct this administration. They were trying to entrap members of the administration, like General Flynn. The entire time, laws were broken, and people need to be prosecuted.
Couple of follows there. One, who, in your opinion, should be indicted? And Democrats would say, who cares about this? This is looking backwards. Why does it matter as we look forward to another election?
Well, it matters for two reasons. One is you need to have a chilling effect on future top bureaucrats at the FBI and other federal institutions. These individuals that take these posts need to know that if they break the law, if they abuse their power, they will be held accountable. That is called the rule of law, and that should be followed. Number two, people need to pay for their crimes. Roger Stone was looking at going to jail for the rest of his life. Yet other members of the former administration lied to the FISA court. They lied to Congress. They obstructed. They misled. They tried to interfere with the handover of power from one president to another, which is a hallmark of the American political system. So somebody needs to be held accountable for that. That's why I'm eagerly awaiting the Durham report.
Okay, we want to get back to something else we just talked about, Congressman, which is the New York Attorney General speaking live about dissolving the National Rifle Association, the NRA. Let's listen to Letitia James, the New York AG.
That was necessary in this case.
We thank you for those questions that were previously asked and answered, but we will answer them again. We will be forwarding the complaint to the IRS, and we'll be in touch with the IRS in regards to any violations of the Internal Revenue Code. Two, because of the numerous complaints and based upon the facts and the application of law, we concluded that the best way to address this matter was to seek resolution before a New York State Supreme Court judge. And that is what we are seeking, again, given the breadth and the depth of the corruption, the illegality, and the brazen attempts to basically evade the law. I thank you all for coming.
New York Attorney General Letitia James talking about this lawsuit to dissolve the NRA, the National Rifle Association. Social media, Congressman, was all lit up thinking this was going to be about the Trump Organization and Deutsche Bank and the president's finances. Had nothing to do with the president. What do you know about alleged corruption at the NRA in this investigation?
Let me just say this. This is a classic example of an attorney general putting politics above policy. So instead of kowtowing, instead of trying to appease her far left radical base, this attorney general should be focused on going after criminals. The crime rate is through the roof, especially in places like New York City. Maybe these individuals should focus on fighting crime, not playing partisan petty politics. And also think about the ramifications this is going to have heading into the fall. You have law-abiding, gun-owning citizens who cannot find enough ammunition, cannot find enough guns, particularly AR-15 rifles. They literally cannot make the ammunition and the rifles fast enough for law-abiding gun owners in the United States. So does this attorney general really want to aggravate this large base heading into election? This will not play well in places like southwestern Pennsylvania, in upstate New York, in other areas. So picking a fight with law-abiding citizens heading into election is politically not a smart thing to do.
And I mentioned the assumption widely held on social media and the mainstream media as well about the president's finances, an investigation into Deutsche Bank. All their tax records have been turned over. What about the timing of that? Now, we've still not heard anything from the New York AG and Letitia James. What if we do hear something between now and the election? What would that timing say to you, Congressman?
Well, the fact that this attorney general pulled a bait and switch with the media today shows me that there may not be enough there to actually move forward. And just like the Mueller investigation, the far left tries to hang these things out there to cloud someone's reputation, to put doubt on the Trump administration, the Trump organization. And it always comes out the same. There's never any there. And usually when you peel back the mask, what you see is the Democrats are the ones that are doing what they're accusing the Trump organization of doing. You saw it with the Mueller report, where the Mueller report itself said there was no obstruction, there was no collusion. Yet where was the collusion? The collusion was with Steele and the Steele dossier that was based off information from sources that were not reliable. Where's the obstruction? The obstruction is dragging out impeachment to distract us from the COVID virus coming from China. And frankly, from us getting things done that we need to do, like criminal justice reform. So I'm willing to bet that there's no there, and this is all time for maximum political gain.
And you mentioned COVID having come from China. Let's discuss China now. Threatening to take countermeasures over a scheduled U.S. trip to Taiwan. HHS Secretary Alex Azar headed to Taiwan Sunday, the highest level official U.S. visit to the Chinese claimed island in 4 decades. I believe you are scheduled to travel with the secretary. Talk to us about this trip, what you hope to accomplish there, and what do you make of Chinese threats as related to that one China policy?
Well, first off, we do not kowtow to China. We recognize Taiwan as an independent country, and we should make further steps to recognize Taiwan as an independent nation. They're a thriving Western democracy. They're under threat by this totalitarian juggernaut that is turned into China. So we need to make it clear that we will respect Taiwan's sovereignty, that we will protect Taiwan, and that we will stand beside our allies, especially Western democracies, in the face of Chinese aggression. So that's first. Second, I was in Taiwan in November. What I took away from that trip is, one, Taiwan is on the cutting edge. Taiwan is the one that actually alerted the World Health Organization to the fact that COVID-19 spread human to human. It was the World Health Organization and the Chinese Communist Party that misled the world, that sat on that information for literally weeks and months. They didn't release it till about mid-March, which led to, some estimate, 95% of all these cases could have been prevented had China, the World Health Organization, had they taken the advice of Taiwan. So I think it's very important that Secretary Azar goes to Taiwan to build our relationship with Taiwan and, frankly, to help us combat these global pandemics in the future.
And the proof is in the numbers there in Taiwan, Congressman. 7 deaths, just 7 deaths in 477 cases, which is remarkable. Thank you for your service, Congressman. Thank you for your time today on a Thursday.
Thank you, Dave.
Appreciate it.